Good morning and welcome to today's webinar where we'll be showcasing Teagasc's land-based apprenticeship programmes. Over the next hour we'll explore how these programmes work and the opportunities they offer across the land-based sector. We'll be hearing directly from current and graduate apprentices across the farm technician, farm manager and horticultural apprenticeship programmes, as well as from some of the employers involved. So let's get started. My name is Deirdre Walsh and I am the Assistant Principal of the College of Amenity Horticulture based in the National Botanic Gardens, and I'm delighted to be hosting today's webinar. This is very much an interactive session, so I encourage you to get involved by submitting any questions via the Q&A function on your screen, and I will bring as many of those questions to our panellists throughout the webinar. Please note, this webinar is being recorded and will be available to view on YouTube in the coming days. To begin, I'm very pleased to hand you over to Dr. Anne-Marie Butler, Head of Education at Teagasc, who will give us an update on the apprenticeship programmes. Over to you, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Deirdre. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to have the opportunity this morning to welcome you to our apprenticeship webinar. Wherever you're joining us from near and far, you're very welcome. Hard to believe it's been 3 years since our land-based apprenticeships launched here in Teagasc. And today is a wonderful opportunity to bring you up to speed with what's happened in the last couple of years and to meet firsthand our apprentices, their teachers, our staff and employers. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. So across the morning, you will have a wonderful opportunity to meet with the different people who have first-hand experienced our land-based apprenticeships. We're delighted to be joined by apprentices who have recently graduated, their employers and my colleagues who work with me very closely here in Teagasc delivering these programmes. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to hear firsthand what a Teagasc land-based apprenticeship feels like and works like, and to hear their experiences and what this learning opportunity can provide for you. These are consortium-led apprenticeships rather than craft, so they are a little bit different to some of the apprenticeships that maybe some of your peers and family have experienced, but nonetheless provide a tremendous learning environment for all. We greatly welcome your questions. As Deirdre will mention, your questions can be placed right throughout the webinar, so please do engage, post your questions, and Deirdre will moderate those and post them to our panellists. And if after the webinar you have any other questions or queries, please do get in touch with us here in Teagasc. We'd be too happy to help. So why would you consider a Teagasc apprenticeship? So no doubt, whether you're joining us from schools or from home or from your place of work, there's lots of opportunities out there for people. Full-time programmes and part-time programmes and online programmes and lots of opportunity, which is wonderful. An apprenticeship, however, allows you to earn as you learn, and you'll hear that across the morning, where each apprentice works with their employer and is on the job for 80% of the time approximately, and then in with us here in Teagasc for 20%. But during that time, they are paid and in paid employment, so they're earning as they're learning. They're gaining new qualifications. You'll hear again this morning their higher education qualifications at level 6 and level 7, and it's a very exciting new pathway. We have a wonderful video to show you later on which gives you first-hand experience of how all these apprentices have learned and how they've enjoyed and experienced the programme first-hand. We offer 4 apprenticeships, and you'll see from the map that they're based across the country. But remember, the apprentices with their employer 80% of the time and approximately 20% of the time working with us here in Teagasc and on the road visiting if it's other farms, other businesses, other sports turf or horticulture bases. As you'll see, our level 6 farm technician apprenticeship is based in Clonakilty College down in sunny West Cork. We have 2 apprenticeships based in Kildalton, which is in South Kilkenny. That's our level 7 farm manager apprenticeship and our level 6 sports turf apprenticeship. And then finally in the Botanic Gardens in Dublin, we have our horticulture apprenticeship, which is a level 6 higher certificate in horticulture, which is based in the Botanic Gardens. But again, the learners, the apprentices spend 80% of their time out and about with their employer and then visiting us for the rest of their work. Apprenticeships are a really exciting and a new way of learning. We encourage you today to sit back and relax Take your time to understand the process. You will see that it's very much based with Generation Apprenticeship, the National Apprenticeship Office. We have very strong working links with Solus. So we will bring you through the process this morning of how you can express an interest to be an apprentice, how employers can be registered to become registered employers, and what the process looks like as you earn and learn with us. Apprenticeships, thankfully, have gained great benefits, great publicity over the last couple of years. We've been on a very exciting journey over the last 3 years. We were delighted in the last couple of weeks that our apprentices graduated. It was the first ever higher education apprenticeship that we had in Teagasc. I congratulate all of those apprentices and wish them continued success. I ask you to, partake today. Post your questions. No such thing as a silly question. We're here to assist. We're here to guide. And please enjoy the webinar. So before I join Deirdre, we're just going to give you a little flavour of our recent graduation, which just took place a few weeks ago.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. That was a very informative presentation and nicely topped off with a glimpse of the inaugural apprenticeship graduation that we had recently. Happy and proud families, graduates, caps and gowns, and that's a first for Teagasc. Great feedback overall. You must be delighted with the milestone.
Yeah, absolutely, Deirdre. I think proud is a very good word. It's been 3 years since we launched these new programmes. So many of our colleagues have given so much to these programmes, but we couldn't do it without the apprentice, without their employer, without their mentor and their family. So the recent graduation was super. As you said, the hats and gowns, a first for Teagasc. We've never awarded higher education awards before. So really proud day, and look great for those apprentices and their employers, and I suppose the future is bright for apprenticeships.
Absolutely. You mentioned it in your presentation, but just what are the main differences with this apprenticeship programme, like as opposed to a full-time level 5 course with Teagasc?
Yeah, so as many of our viewers will know, our full-time programmes, students are in with us typically your academic year, September to May, give or take, some placement. But the big difference with apprenticeships is you are an employee of an approved employer. So for anybody watching and listening, and it'll come up later on, Deirdre, about how that happens, but somebody comes to us as the employee and they spend about 20% of their time with us, be it in the Botanic Gardens, Kildalton, Clonakilty, but they mainly do their learning on the job with their employer. And you're always in employment. It's not that you're in employment for a couple of weeks. It's a relationship, an employment relationship with the employer, and you're earning. So that's all agreed with your employer, but you're coming in then to your Teagasc course for agreed dates across the year. So hopefully then you're bringing that learning back to your employer.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the employer then, and what do you see are the key benefits to the employer to take on a Teagasc apprenticeship?
Yeah, so first and foremost, every apprentice must have an employer. So this programme and all our programmes cannot work or run without the employer. For the employer, I suppose, look, they have an employee, a valued employee. That employee is learning with us, bringing back the latest in science and technology, if it's in agriculture, horticulture or sports turf. It's that opportunity to mentor somebody, that opportunity to bring somebody from their existing skills base to a higher skills base, and I suppose just integrate them in your business. So as you'll see this morning from the people that you'll be interviewing, Deirdre, they have huge experience from across the country, hands-on. And we found then that when they come back to learn with us, they learn from each other. So they become their own little cohesive unit who are saying, well, I'm doing this today, what are you doing? What's happened on your golf course or your race course or your hurling pitch? And I think it's very unique, that style of learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the apprentices that we'll meet later on today reference just that, Anne-Marie, as well, so we'll hear more about it. And in terms of application, like how do you apply? So there's people watching and they're unsure of, they're thinking of the CAO or they're thinking of applying for, level 5 full-time courses, but how do you apply for an apprenticeship course?
Yeah, so apprenticeships are different, Deirdre, and I suppose, again, we're here to help. So if people want to know further, please don't hesitate. I said the Q&A today, but even to get in touch with us. But the main difference is that you need to come to us as an approved apprentice, and you have to engage with SOLAS. So we'll talk about that later in the webinar, but it's just that process can start now. You can start to apply to SOLAS, and a lot of it is that basic information, you know, date of birth and PPS number and bits and pieces. Your employer then also has to be approved, so they'll have to submit documentation. And then when you have those kind of two key pieces of information and you have your job, you can then come to us in Teagasc. Now look, if somebody comes to us and they are missing something, look, we're here to help. We're here to guide people and I suppose signpost them back to where they can get that piece of information. So it's not on the CAO. There are entry requirements, so I suppose encourage everybody just to take a look at those. They specify the different levels if someone is coming to us from junior cycle or leaving cert or higher. But really it's that employment piece. So just taking the time to look through it. You'll hear loads this morning from the different panellists, and they'll help people guide them as well as the stages.
Perfect, thanks Anne-Marie. And is there a deadline that people need to be aware of for this year, for the next intake for the apprenticeships?
Yeah, so our intakes are in, like I suppose any academic year, our intakes are in September. Look, I'd encourage everybody to get the ball rolling, you know, start to look at how you become an approved apprentice, how you can become an approved employer. And for many employers, this might be very new to them. You know, maybe reach out to other employers who are already on the journey, but certainly talk to any of my colleagues here in Teagasc, and they'll give people the insights. We have FAQ documents on the website and bits and pieces, Deirdre. But look, certainly for us, it's to try and promote this as a new opportunity. And as we'll hear from people firsthand this morning, the uniqueness of it. And I think just to note as well, Deirdre, at our graduation a couple of weeks ago, we had a father and a son who both graduated from sports turf. So I suppose it's just a reminder that for apprenticeships, it can be at any stage in life. And the beauty then of, I suppose, that kind of intergenerational learning.
Yes, excellent, lovely. Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Thanks, Deirdre.
That has been very informative and gives a great overview of the opportunities available. For anyone thinking this could be the right pathway for them, the next question usually is, how do I get started? In this video, we are going to hear about what's involved.
How to become an apprentice. Step 1, get the information. Check relevant web pages at www.apprenticeship.ie and promotional materials. Attend Teagasc and apprenticeship promotional events. Check that you meet the required entry requirements. Step 2, get a job. Secure a job with a SOLAS approved employer. Agree terms and conditions. Sign a contract of employment. Step 3, contact SOLAS. The employer contacts the SOLAS authorised officer to complete the apprenticeship registration process in conjunction with the apprentice. SOLAS authorised officer registers the apprentice. Step 4, enrol on a Teagasc apprenticeship programme. Complete Teagasc online application process. Attend induction training with Teagasc. Start your career as an apprentice. Good luck with your apprenticeship.
That was a really useful video on how to become an apprentice, which is also available on the Teagasc website. So now I'm delighted to introduce our first member of the panel today, Mike Madden. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Eva.
Mike has graduated from the Level 6 Farm Technician Apprenticeship and has progressed to the Level 7 Farm Manager Apprenticeship. Before I speak with Mike, we're going to play a short video of where we caught up with Mike in location in County Cork recently.
My own name is Mike Madden from Balgooley, County Cork. Currently doing the Level 7 Farm Manager Apprenticeship based out of Kildalton. Doing it here on the farm of John and Ken Bryan, Kilbritton, County Cork. It's a tillage and dairy farm. The dairy side we have 120 cows. The tillage we've roughly about 100 to 130 acres of tillage. I didn't actually grow up on the farm myself, but an uncle of mine used to work for a contractor, and I spent more time in the passenger seat of a tractor than I did anywhere else, so I grew into it that way, and that's where the love of machinery came from. And since, like, believe it or not, I actually left school in 2018. I didn't get as far as the leaving cert. I went mechanicking, HEV mechanic. It didn't really suit me because I was stuck inside in the garage all day, every day. I left the mechanicking and I heard wind of this apprenticeship coming on. Completed Level 6 Farm Technician, got apprentice of the year out of it, which is something I never thought I wouldn't have gotten into mechanicking. So when I'm doing something I love and something I enjoy and I know it, I suppose the apprenticeship for me, as the saying goes, earn as you learn. Like, I'm not a person to be stuck inside the classroom the whole time. And for anyone else who's thinking of doing something like this, like, I wasn't a person for books. My results in school wouldn't have been great, but the fact that majority of the work is actually on farm based, it's a lot better way of doing it. Like, I like, that's the beauty of this place. I enjoy working with cows. Like, you see me this morning, we were painting a spreader this morning, variety. My employers have been fantastic and currently are fantastic. Like, they're essentially losing an employee for a week, a month at times, like, and like there's no give me out and no stress. They plan around it, and like there's no bother paying when you're away. So they're paying for someone who's not here. Any questions I had, I was taught, and like even since I'd done the level 7, the likes of putting out fertilizers and things, I'd have been looking in a lot more what's going out, and we'd have been talking a lot more about rates, issues in fields like that. As the saying goes, if you pick a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Like, look in the likes of January and February there in our calving, and the alarm goes off and the wind is howling, the wind and rain is howling outside. It is tough to get out of bed, but when things are up and you're like even opening out fences or fencing, or like when we start setting barley and things, when the weather's dry, it is the best job in the world. There's no doubt in that. Like, I suppose if you ask me 5 or 10 years down the line, I'd like to be either running my own place or in a partnership in a yard like this. To sum up the apprenticeship, it would be the best thing that has happened to me.
Mike, that was an excellent video there. Overall Apprentice of the Year, milking cows, operating, maintaining machinery, doing an apprenticeship, and from Cork. You're living the dream, Mike.
I'm chasing the dream, and I'm not about living, but...
Well done. Come here, you mentioned in the video there about not from a farming background and not having a leaving cert. Yeah. So can you talk me through kind of how you found yourself doing an apprenticeship in Clonakilty?
Yeah, sure. I suppose I didn't live on a farm growing up, yeah. But a relative of mine worked with a tillage farm and a contractor, so I kind of grew up around that farm. I was up there. I'm around there since I was a toddler. Yeah. So once I kind of got to the age of being able to drive and stuff, I kind of grew into that business, and I actually left school it would have been around Easter time of 5th year. So I left. I went doing a HVM mechanic, heavy vehicle mechanic. Enjoyed it, but it didn't suit me all out, like, you know, because I was stuck inside a garage the whole time. It just wasn't what I wanted to be doing. Like, I was taking days off to go out farming for fellas and things. So yeah, I left that, and I actually went down to Teagasc, and I done a level 5 certificate in agriculture. That got me my level 5, which I wouldn't have got with a leaving cert. Yeah. So I got wind this apprenticeship was coming up, so I had out for a couple of years, and as soon as it became available, I was currently working in the same farm we grew up in. Okay. It was actually John Butler and Riverside. Yeah. So I just said on Monday, I said, can I sign you up to Solace and do my apprenticeship here? He said, yeah, no bother. So, and in fairness, the sign-up process even for the employer and things was all straightforward and very easy to get into. Yeah, yeah. So signed it up and started it. I can't remember what year it was now exactly, but yeah, the 2 years flew, and I enjoyed it and things. So.
And talk to me about the 2 years, Mike. So what was involved? Like, so what makes it different? Because you did do the full-time course in Clonakilty first, the level 5 course, and then you went on to the level 6. Yeah. So what was different about it?
I suppose the main difference, and the thing I enjoyed most about the apprenticeship, was the earn as you learn. Yes, yeah. Like, it, as I said in the video earlier, it's 80% on farm, roughly 20% in college. And
what does that mean? So how many days we actually, like, say a typical month, how many days?
Typical month, mostly 3 days a month in college. Perfect, some days is 5. Yeah. Like, it suited me fine because in Clonakilty it's only 40 minutes down the road. Brilliant, so yeah. But like, that suited me because I'm not a person who's stuck in the classroom. Yes, yeah. Like, if there's any other person in the same boat, it more than likely is for them to
you learn better when you're out, hands-on learning, doing the job more so.
Like, I can read something 40 times in a book and I'd forget it. Whereas if I go out and actually see someone do it myself, I'll pick it up straight away there and then.
Okay, so. Yeah. So my next question then was, like, what were the aspects about the apprenticeship programme that really suited you? So.
Because again, earn as you learn, the hands-on practical side of it was the main thing. Yeah. And like, there is still classroom side of it, but you're just not all your head stuck in books in the classroom either. Yeah. Like, you've practicals out in the yard, down in Dara, you're having discussions. Like, discussions are a great way to learn. Yes. Looks like if you've an issue on farm, someone else could have the same issue and they might have a different approach which could solve the issue for you. So
okay, so that group learning environment really suited. And presumably, like, it's still a course, you still need to pass it. So there is assessments and assignments.
Yep.
So how did you find, like, managing that and working and keeping on top of everything?
I suppose the biggest way I found keeping top of it was if you got an assignment, just do it. And like assignments and projects in school, I'd have rolled my eyes when I heard about them. Like, but whereas when you're doing it, when you have to do with something you like I'm farming all my life, so I enjoy it and I kind of knew what I was talking about. So if you're doing what you love, you will keep up no matter what you do. Like, you know.
And what? So there's two kind of different enterprises going on in the farm that you're on at the moment.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that. So how it's different. So you've moved into the level 7 apprenticeship now.
Yep.
So you've kind of moved away from the level 6 type work that you were doing, although maybe it's similar, but you're kind of into a different space now.
The level 7, it is a different course. Like, you've a lot more day-to-day decisions on the farm.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot more discussion in the level 7, but like
but you enjoy the discussion.
Oh, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't see time going there in the classroom when you're talking to other people.
Yeah.
You find issues they have, and you might have other farms with the same issues and things. And
yes.
like the course content is slightly different with the level 7. Like the projects and assignments in level 6, a lot of them are kind of done in class.
Yeah.
Whereas in the level 7, a lot of them are done in your own time. Which is fine too, because if you have to go out and try and search for stuff yourself, you're going to learn more that way too. Like,
yeah, good. So it's, and the structure then from the level 6 to the level 7, is it slightly different or?
Very similar, same thing, kind of 3 to 5 days a month in college, and like that's based out of Kildalton.
Yeah.
So it's slightly further up the country.
So you have a little bit further to go.
A little bit further.
Yeah. And then final question then for you, Mike. Does completing the apprenticeship, alongside, so you're learning as you go as well as earning as you go, but does it prepare you for the challenges that you meet day to day and the job?
It does, 100%, because you're out in the farm 80% of the time, so you're actually seeing these challenges firsthand, and you can see what can go wrong as well as what can go right, you know.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing to be in a classroom talking about what can go wrong, but when you actually see it going wrong and the challenges, you learn. You learn from experience.
So you're kind of problem solving as you, Yeah, 100%. Lovely, perfect. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Now we're switching from agriculture to horticulture, which is an apprenticeship I'm most familiar with. Next, we're going to hear from Dara Sloan, who completed the horticulture apprenticeship programme, training at both the National Botanic Gardens and Teagasc Ashtown, and completed his apprenticeship with his family business Greenside Landscapes in Kildare.
My name is Dara Sloan. I work for Greenside Landscapes. We do all kinds of garden maintenance and construction. We're based in Kildare. I graduated from the level 6 horticulture apprenticeship in Botanic Gardens. I work with Greenside Landscapes, my father's company. I've been working for him for as long as nearly as I remember. I was looking to get a qualification in horticulture just to carry into the business and just to develop knowledge to deal with different clients and know what I'm talking about. I've graduated recently, and since graduating we're now gone to apprenticeships, so we're 50-50. So yeah, in college we worked with a lot of new machinery and looked at doing things the modern way and the most efficient way, and covered all the science kind of part of horticulture, so we have all that knowledge. And we also covered kind of finance, so business management, so we looked into all kind of revenue streams, all that kind of stuff. So it's good to have all that under your belt just to bring forward into the company and hopefully benefit in the future. Yeah, definitely have more responsibility now in the company now that we're 50-50, and just different things like both our numbers are advertised for different work, so people are calling me or calling Ray. So the great thing about this job really is just it's all outdoor work, so most days we're in a different place. It's very varied, whether it's building a new garden or designing new gardens, all that kind of different things, so kind of cover all aspects of garden and construction maintenance. There's a great variety in the job and a great job satisfaction at the end of the day. You can see what you've actually been doing. So Ray studied in Botanic Gardens as well, so obviously I followed his footsteps or whatever, but to have him there as a role model and my mentor was great. Yeah, I definitely recommend doing the horticulture apprenticeship. I think it's great, the fact that it's earning and learning, so you're doing 80% on the job with your mentor, learning hands-on, and then 20% in the college, and your 20% is still getting paid a wage for, and you're doing hands-on and theory learning, and at the end of the day you get your qualification and everything you need to know to pursue in the sector.
My name is Ray Sloan. I've the company Greenside Landscapes. Would have always worked in the horticultural sector. To become an apprentice employer for Dara, it was kind of a no-brainer because I was delighted, number one, that Dara was enthusiastic to get into the same trade that I was in myself for so long. And at least then I knew he was going to bring something new to the business and that he would carry it on. But when Dara qualified from his apprenticeship, he obviously brought more knowledge into the business. So for me to value him as a partner is only going to bring it on further. But we were very lucky as a father and son that we get on so well. But there's not that it's me telling him or him telling me. We do the job together. Becoming an apprentice employer, I think, is great for everybody because their employee is only going to bring more knowledge to the company. And I'd recommend it to any employer because they're only going to benefit themselves from it anyway with the knowledge.
That was an excellent video, Dara, but before I come to you, I just want to remind the audience joining us today that if you have any questions, to please submit them through the Q&A tab on your screen. Dara, excellent video. Yeah, I hear that it's lucky that you made it to us today in Oak Park in Carlow. Had a puncture on the way down.
Had a puncture on the way down.
But you got sorted.
Got here in the end, yeah.
Good, good, good. Congratulations also, Dara, on your recent graduation, and you won the Best Capstone Apprenticeship Award. Yeah. So for those that might know, the Capstone is a project-based assessment or assignment at the end of your 2 years on the programme, where you bring all the learning from your different modules that you did into one project. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so basically for my capstone project I created and designed a website for the company. I also created a social media platform. So I made an Instagram account and a Facebook account, just a new way to generate work for the future. So.
And is it still in use today?
Yeah, it's still in use, yeah.
Yeah, excellent,
active, so.
Excellent, yeah. And you've since gone into a partnership with your dad.
Yeah.
So tell us, was that always on the cards, Dara, or?
Not necessarily always on the cards, but yeah, so basically like we both do 50-50 the work, so we decided just to go 50-50 in the business, so it's delighted, yeah.
Brilliant, well done. And when you say we decided, was there, how much of the we was?
Well, it's kind of 50-50.
Good, okay, right. So, and I hear also that you, like, it's clear that you get on very well from your dad, and it is an excellent example of how, you know, you can learn as well as earn as you learn, but like learn on your home enterprise and work with your, you know, your family to achieve a qualification. So that model suits you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And we might mention that you did try the full-time course as well before you moved on to the apprenticeship.
Yeah, so I tried the level 5 course in Botanic Gardens, the horticulture course as well, but that was a full-time course and I just found it very theory-based. So when I heard that the level 6 apprenticeship was coming up, I went for it straight away.
It was a no-brainer.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And with the apprenticeship programs, it is very important that you're mentored or you're supported. So how did your dad support you while you were on the program?
Yeah, so I'm 80% on the job, learning from my mentor. So to have him there, learning new skills and theory-wise as well, was great. So it's great to have a good.
And it's nice because he's also did the same course.
Yeah, he studied in Botanic Gardens as well, so he was delighted. I followed his footsteps.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Yeah, well done, Dara. Yeah, and you get on.
Yeah, we get on fierce well. We have a bit of crack in work as well, like, so it's great.
Perfect. Yeah, and no, I hear there's never any arguments.
No.
Everything was.
No arguments in work anyway. So.
Good. Well done, Dara. Yeah. And do you bring back, like, you know, I suppose it's a year ago now actually since you presented your capstone project. Like, have you brought back ideas when you were completing the program? You know, when you're speaking with your classmates, and they were all mainly based in the same area as yourself. Did you learn, like, from you know, the course, that ideas that you could implement into the business?
Yeah, definitely. Like, we learned a lot of theory, but more so like practical things, like different machinery that make things easier and more efficient, like to bring back into the business, just to benefit and make life easier for everyone. Okay,
and on the machinery, that is an element of the course. Can you tell us a little bit about the types of machinery that you were?
Yeah, so we looked at engines and different machinery, how they work, and ways to fixing things and stuff like that, and just different machinery for different jobs and the most efficient machinery to get the job done. So
excellent, yeah. And one of the, in year 2 of the programme, you did hard landscaping module, which was, you did a fantastic project based in Teagasc. where you kind of created steps and risers and falls and levels and all of that with your mentors out there, or your teaching staff out there, Paddy Smith and Darren White. Can you tell us, like, is that something that you would have maybe been familiar with before you came onto the programme and maybe developed those skills, or?
Yeah, so we covered a lot of practicals in that. That was actually an assessment. So we used a lot of new machines and tools. So we covered a lot of things that even in my own job we wouldn't have covered yet, but to cover it and be able to bring it back into our own business is great.
So you learned a thing or two from the gang in Ashton.
Definitely,
Yeah, good. They'll be delighted with that. And final question then, Jara. How do you manage your time? Because you are, and I know you're racing off later on today, you're going back to a job site once you leave us here, but like, how do you manage, you know, it's busy, like, so you have assignments, assessments, you're working, you're going to college, and then you're a keen footballer as well. Like, how do you manage it all?
Yeah, no, it can be hard at times to plan these things, but like even on rainy days and stuff, to get assignments done then, and weekends and evenings, you just kind of make do and get them done. So
okay, and it was all paced. It was all, there was nothing too, like, nothing is left to the end. Your assignments are all paced throughout.
In fairness to lectures and stuff, we knew in advance when stuff was coming up, so we got things done in advance and had plenty of time to sort things through. Yeah, lovely. So it was good.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Sarah. Next, we're going to hear from Olivia Rigney, who also has a really interesting story. Olivia actually joined us for an apprenticeship webinar 2 years ago, while she was completing her farm manager apprenticeship with Brian Dohenny in Brackenhill Farm in Kilkenny. And she has since graduated from the apprenticeship programme and moved into a new role. So in this video, we hear about Olivia's journey at the beginning of the apprenticeship 2 years ago.
My name's Olivia Rigney. I'm from Clonaslee in County Leash, and I'm doing my first year apprenticeship course with Brian Dohenny in Tullaroan in County Kilkenny. Yeah, we have sucklers and sheep at home. It's a small farm. We have about 35 hectares. So I finished secondary school and I went to Gertrude Agricultural College in Tipperary, and I completed my dairy herd management level 6. So I got the job first. I've been here since last summer, and it was brought to my attention then about the apprenticeship course, and I was very interested in it, and I got to stay with Brian, so that was a lot of it as well, because I really enjoy working here. Brian is very good with helping us on farm, and when we go to college, if we need any information for our course, he's well able to provide it. So we have a staff meeting once a week. It's usually on a Monday after breakfast, and we talk about what jobs have to be done during the week and what jobs have to be done, say, that day, that are most important. And we work our way down to the list. Everyone has a certain list of jobs, and we plan to get them done throughout the week. What I enjoy most about the apprenticeship is that it's just very hands-on. We're out every day doing what we want to do, and you're not stuck inside reading a book or studying all the time. We're out learning as we go. You're out in the fresh air every day, and it's good for you and it's good for your mental health. I think the biggest advantage is that after being in college and wanting to further my education, but wanting to go out and get a job and make money for myself, is that whether we're on farm or in college, we get paid for the apprenticeship course. It's great to see that they can provide us with that, and it really does encourage people to want to further their education. So after my level 7, I'm hoping to possibly go abroad to New Zealand or Australia for a minimum of 6 months, just for the experience and to see what way they manage their dairy farms out there compared to Ireland here. We want to be able to have a dairy farm at home with the land around us. It's just not good enough quality, so I'm looking to manage a farm somewhere near us, hopefully.
Olivia, it's hard to believe that that video was taken 2 years ago. It really only feels like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened since I met you last, and the last time you were joining us live on farm in studio, and it's great to have you with us this morning in the studio.
Yeah,
so
thanks,
yeah.
Deirdre.
So as I mentioned, a lot has happened in the 2 years. You've completed your apprenticeship. So can you talk us through, like, where you were 2 years ago to where you are today?
Yeah, so I was only really starting off the last time.
Yeah.
Hadn't really got to experience much, but it was great. All the assignments didn't feel like assignments.
Yes.
Because we were learning and enjoying them as we were doing them.
Yeah.
And I graduated then only a couple of weeks ago after finishing up in June.
Congratulations. Well
Thank you very
done,
much.
well done. And that was a great day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of Brian's family members came down and were there to celebrate it with me.
So these were your apprenticeship hosts, they came to visit to congratulate you.
Yeah.
Well done, Olivia, yeah.
Thank you.
Great day. And you also won, actually, on the day as well, Best Sustainable Farming Award. So tell us a little bit about that. Was that an assignment that you did while on the programme?
Yeah, so I done a project on the stress indicators in dairy calves during handling and transport.
Yeah.
So I was looking at what affects calves' stress and the benefits of reducing stress in productivity, and I done this with 2 different groups. So I was.
And was your mentor Brian was very supportive of you completing that? And
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And would have guided you maybe?
Yeah, any help that I needed, he was there beside me.
Excellent. Yeah. So you've moved on. You're in a new role. So maybe, and to my mind, it's kind of maybe moving on from a very hand-based approach to maybe a not so hand-based or you know, hands-on work. So
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So I have gone in to be a Board BA inspector. So I'm going around from farm to farm, inspecting animal welfare, biosecurity measures, all that kind of stuff. But it's very outdoor and it's very getting to meet people. And
yeah. And would you say that the apprenticeship, like the skills, the knowledge that you learned in the apprenticeship, kind of supports you in your new role?
Definitely 100%. Like even from stuff we learn in the classroom, communication skills, leadership skills, they all come into it. You meet different people in different points of life, and you need to know how to deal with everyone, and everyone's different.
Brilliant, yeah. And do you miss the hands-on work though? Because that was something you referenced quite a bit in your video.
Yeah.
And would you miss being out with the animals? I mean, those cows all looked fantastic, and they were all delighted you were there with them.
No, it's not fully gone yet. I still do relief milking morning and evening, Monday to Friday.
Are you going milking cows this evening?
Took the day off today.
Okay, well done, yeah, good move.
Yeah.
You mentioned travelling as well. You were keen to maybe explore the dairy scene in Australia or New Zealand. Is that still on the cards for you?
It's still in the back of my mind. I haven't anything set in stone, but I'm sure I'll get to it at some stage.
Okay, yes, yeah. And then this might be a question actually for all of you as well. You were kind of the first apprentices to graduate from the programme. So the apprenticeship was probably smaller numbers. Maybe you might mention kind of how you got on with your group, and are you still in contact with your...
Yeah, so we had a small group. We had only 7. There was 3 girls and 4 boys.
Yeah.
We were all a very tight-knit group.
Yeah.
It was nearly easier because everyone could just keep in contact with each other all the time.
Yes.
Whereas if you have a big group of 20 or 30 people, it's hard.
Yes, yeah.
But
and are you still in contact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still are, yeah.
Brilliant, yeah. But WhatsApp, or how do you keep in contact? Or?
Anyway at all.
Okay.
Anyway at all.
And I might open that up to the rest of you. Like Mike, are you still in contact with the group from the level 6?
I'm we Snapchatting the whole time and telling each other what we're doing wrong or right.
Yeah, okay. So they're a good sounding board.
Yeah.
And Dara, are you in contact?
Yeah, like that as well. We're in a WhatsApp group. There's 9 of us from the class, and we send in different machinery or different jobs we're after doing. So
yeah, and there was 9. It was all 9 guys with you.
9 lads.
Mike, had you any females in your?
Yeah, we had one.
One, and Olivia.
We had 3.
Okay, yeah. So I think in the next years after you, we've a few more females coming through on the programs. But the dynamic worked, and you're all still in contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And looking back, then I suppose. And because you've completed, and Dara, you finished over a year ago, really. The college part of your apprenticeship. Like, what was the biggest advantage for you of the course? Like, if somebody asked you what was all that about, what was the biggest advantage? What suited you? Well, let's start with you, Olivia.
I just think it's the earnings you learn.
Yeah.
And you're out on farm, getting the practical side of it.
Yeah.
And whatever you learn in the classroom, you're bringing that out and you're using it on farm.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like work.
Okay, yeah. Whereas suppose, if you compare it to a full-time level 5, you don't get as much maybe exposure to the work environment. I mean, we have placement, whereas you're kind of continually learning and implementing what you're learning.
Yeah.
Mike, biggest advantage for you?
I suppose hitting the nail on the head with earn as you learn. I suppose I'm someone who learns from hands-on experience, and if you're someone like me who doesn't like book work and prefers to learn through hands-on experience and friendship, it's a way better option.
And Dara?
Yeah, I like that as well. It's 80% on the job, so you're learning while you're working, and then you have your 20% in college as well. So
okay, perfect, lovely. And I might key skills learned then, Olivia, I might start with you as well. Like, so what were the key skills that you learned on the programme that you're still using today?
I'd definitely say communication.
Okay.
Whether it be when I'm milking and different people coming into the yard, or even with Board Bia, you meet people in different walks of life.
So what was it about communication? What were you doing?
So we would been doing group projects,
yeah,
and we'd all have to work to get to one place, and it just, we all seemed to work well, and I think it was the smaller group that helped that as well.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I wasn't expecting communications to be your top skill. And how about yourself, Mike?
Communication probably a big one with me as well. Like currently, even with the level 7, like 2 or 3 days before we actually go to college, we send in figures, kind of how the farm is performing at that point in time, like, and we could spend an hour or two each block release just discussing different points with other farms. Like, and if you have one problem, if you communicate that with the group, you could have another 3 or 4 farms with the same problem. Like, they might have found a solution that you haven't tried. Like, if they tell you that might solve the issue for you.
Okay, excellent, yeah. And Dara?
One of the modules we covered was finance management.
Yeah.
So we talked all about kind of how to run a business and keep it running smoothly. So all different revenues and all that kind of stuff. So it was great.
Brilliant, yeah, excellent. Now, I wasn't expecting those answers, because sometimes they're the modules that apprentices maybe least like, and they're wondering, why do we have to do communications, or why do I need to know about finance? But they're the skills that you're still using. Yeah, excellent. And we have a few questions there just from the Q&A. And Mike, I might ask you this, but it's open to everybody as well. Do you get a green cert with the farm technician programme?
Level 6 you do, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Like,
so that
I've encouraged a few, like when I was doing the level 6, I'd been talking to a few farmer sons, and they were contracting their own place, and they were saying they're going to do the green cert. And I've told them about the apprenticeship, and I've told them, look into it and see, can you find a registered employer, or register someone you know, because in my opinion it's a way better way of getting a green cert.
Okay, excellent. Another question here then as well, is there a price for the work that you do? Is it set price? Is it from the college, or is it a mutual agreement with the farmer? You don't need to get into any facts and figures now, but like, so how do you agree how you're going to get paid? Because again, you are an employee, you're not a student, so there's that difference.
This is kind of between you and the employer, like, which is above minimum wage.
Yes.
Which is all legal, like, you know.
Yes, and Dara negotiated a 50% partnership, so that's quite an opportunity as well. So support there's another question there, the support's available for apprentices, and one of the big elements of support, I suppose, is the mentoring. So I might ask you each then about just how important that was, that you did have somebody available. So Olivia, I might start with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Brian was a massive help. Any college work I needed help with, even just going down to the yard, having a conversation about the figures, how the cows were producing on farm, and you can bring that into the classroom then and have a discussion with your classmates as well, but there was always support. You're
never left like not knowing something.
No, you'll always get the answer from somewhere anyway.
Yes, yeah, brilliant. Mike?
Yeah, having a mentor on farm is vital, because like the employer themselves aren't always going to be in the yard to take you away. Take the money or getting parts or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, whereas the mentor is normally someone working on the farm, so you're always going to, if you have a question, there's always someone there to answer.
Yes, yeah. And Dara?
Yeah, I think mentor plays a big part, like even for assignments and stuff. Just to have someone to ask about different things is great to have.
And there's no awkwardness about going, or like, God, I'm going to go now and ask him about this assignment. I was only talking to him about that. No, there's none of that. No, and they're all quite happy to help.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, well done. Thank you very much. So thanks everybody. That's been really valuable hearing about your experiences and the different paths you've all taken. And we wish you the best of luck with all your future endeavours. We've spoken a lot about the apprenticeship journey, about the apprentice journey, but employers are a key part of making these programmes work. Next, we're going to look at how these businesses can get involved and become a SOLAS approved apprenticeship employer.
How to become a SOLAS approved employer. Step 1. Get the information. Contact Teagasc to get information on the relevant programme. Check relevant web pages at www.apprenticeship.ie and promotional materials. Attend apprenticeship promotional events. Step 2. Complete an online expression of interest form with SOLAS. Employer completes an online expression of interest form on the Generation Apprenticeship website. Step 3. Solas will verify the online expression of interest form and contact Teagasc. Teagasc will review the expression of interest form and contact the employer to confirm that they meet the requirements to become a Solas approved employer. Teagasc will confirm with the Solas authorised officer if the requirements to become an approved employer have been met. Step 4. On-site inspection. A Solas authorised officer completes an inspection to check suitability to train apprentices and a check of compliance with the Apprenticeship Code of Practice for employers and apprentices. The Solas authorised officer recommends the employer to Solas for approval. Where employer is not approved, guidance of requirements to become a Solas approved employer will be provided. An employer can reapply at a further point for inspection. Step 5. The Solas approved employer recruits an apprentice. The Solas approved employer agrees terms and conditions with the apprentice. A contract of employment is signed between the Solas approved employer and the apprentice. The Solas approved employer contacts the Solas authorised officer to complete the apprentice registration process in conjunction with the apprentice. Step 6. Contact Teagasc. The registered apprentice and the Solas approved employer contact Teagasc to enrol on the relevant apprenticeship programme. We wish you and your apprentice every success.
That was a really helpful insight into how employers can get involved. As we've heard, employers are a vital part of these programmes. I'm delighted now to be joined by Dr. Emma Louise Coffey, Farm Manager Apprenticeship Coordinator with Teagasc, and Paddy Kelly, who is an apprentice employer. Welcome both. Paddy, I might start with you first. You might give us an overview of the enterprise that you operate and how the apprenticeship scheme fits in.
Yeah, perfect, Deirdre. They were slightly unusual, I suppose, in terms of Irish dairy farming, so all the land we farm is leased.
Yeah.
So in 2016, myself and a friend of mine, James Murphy, set up a partnership, leased a dairy farm, and today we're actually milking cows on lease farms in Cork and Limerick and one farm in Kilkenny.
Yes.
So yeah, employing a lot of people, multiple units. We were initially involved with Emma Louise's professional farm management course, which was kind of the predecessor to these apprenticeships.
Mm-hmm.
We had maybe 5 or 6 students in through that and really enjoyed that dynamic of having young people working in the business, explaining how we did things, them challenging us on, you know, what they were learning and that. And we've now had 3 farm technician apprenticeships through our business as well. So 2 of them are finished and 1 ongoing. Danny, who's with us, is an excellent guy.
I can only imagine how busy you are at this time of the year now, Paddy. So
a lot happening with Cavan and stuff,
yes,
but no, happy to be here.
So thank you for coming in. And my next question then is, how do you plan and fit the mentoring and taking on of the apprentices and making sure that they're, you know, as the guys that were in there earlier on just said, that they need, you know, maybe guidance on some of their assignments. How do you fit it all in? Yeah,
so it is different to like a direct employee, you know, having an apprentice. So I suppose being an employer is a lot of responsibility, and when it comes to the apprenticeship, you're an employer and I suppose you're a bit of a mentor and teacher.
Yes. And
I have to give a lot of credit to, like, our current apprentice Danny's on a farm where the farm manager is Colin, and Colin would, I suppose, do a lot of that role as well, and he's aware of that. So I suppose it just means putting extra effort into explaining what we're doing, engaging with the projects. You just have to make time for that. So you're taking on extra responsibility, but the benefit then for you is, you know, every month the apprentice is going and learning, I suppose, about best practice in different areas of farming from experts in Teagasc and others. Yeah. And they're coming back then and you're telling you what they learned, and you have to explain, well, how you're implementing that in your business. And that's a nice, very positive dynamic to have, I think, for any business. And it possibly keeps you up to date as well, because the land-based sector is ever evolving with new research all the time. So that's a benefit to you. Yeah, I think it is. It absolutely is. It's something you do have to kind of enjoy doing, and Emma Louise will have that experience in terms of working with hosts. But it's a big responsibility at the same time. Yes. But yeah, we really love it. We've been very fortunate. 2 of the previous effectively apprentices that have gone through the system with us have actually stayed on, or they've gone travelling and come back to work with us full time. So it's been a great source of employment when you're willing to meet the extra responsibilities, I suppose, of being an apprentice employer.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Paddy. Emma Louise then, so Marie mentioned there at the top of the programme about the structure, but just break it down for us again. You know, there is a question there on the Q&A, like, are you with your employer Monday to Friday, but how does it work?
Yeah, so I guess it's typically an 80-20 split. So 80% of the time you're on farm and 20% of the time you're coming into one of the Teagasc colleges. That looks like 2 to 3 days per month. So, you know, you're coming into the college setting. What do the classes look like? You know, when you think about college, you might think of a theatre and presentation slides. But I suppose Mike alluded to it well. You're bringing the information from the farm, you're discussing it, troubleshooting issues. What we would do is a lot of group discussion, so in groups of 2 or 3s, out the whole group in a discussion group setting. And I suppose a key thing is, you know, it's very much applied, so applying the science to what's happening practically on farm and developing solutions to potential problems that are going to arise day to day within the farm setting.
You must be doing something very interesting in the communications module, because it was referenced twice there. So
yes.
what does that look like?
Yeah, well, I suppose I think Olivia's thinking back to their key project in second year. So it's a leadership module, and communication, delegation, teamwork is a big part of that. So what they're doing is actually designing a teamwork project, and then they're communicating it to the other groups, and they must repeat it. And I suppose it's emulating when you're in employment. So Olivia on farm with her larger team, it's looking at, you know, she has to delegate, give instruction. She can't do absolutely every task on the farm. So how can she do that most effectively? So you're looking at your communication, SOPs, WhatsApp, videos, things like that.
Well,
so
they're still using it today, so well done. Louise,
in terms of the programme for the year, maybe just highlight, like, there's no actual courses in February. So obviously we have dairy calving, very, very busy month of the year. So it's not until actually next week Danny has his first week. He had a week in January as well. So you do try and make it seasonal.
Absolutely, and it is to try and facilitate the employers too, and appreciate where the busy points are. And that, I suppose, the 2 to 5 days per month, 5 days in the quieter times of year. And that was actually very much dictated by our employers and host farmers from previous programmes, what best fits their system.
So you've altered it since you've started?
Yeah, well I suppose Paddy mentioned the old system, the professional dairy farm management course, those farmers would have guided us. There will be change, absolutely, and but they wanted, I suppose, to have some say in how the new programme evolved too.
And that's an important point as well, because these are consortium-led apprenticeships, not, you know, differing from craft-led apprenticeships. It's not just Teagasc sitting in a room deciding this is what needs to happen, you know. You might talk a little bit about the consortium.
So it's an interesting question, Deirdre. So the consortium are effectively a steering group, and the consortium is made up of industry representatives. So from, I suppose, the farm apprenticeships, there'd be farmers and industry representatives who would, I suppose, work closely with our national apprenticeship specialist, Marcella Phelan at Teagasc, and they would have guided her in terms of course content, the modules, what the assessment looks like, and things like that, block release, to fit it into the business systems.
Yeah, and then just on the block release, Emma Louise, what is that as well for people that?
So that's the course days where they will come off the
we don't refer to them as block release and horticulture, so we've slightly different terminology. There's a question there just about the grants available for employers. Paddy, I might ask you about that. Yeah,
so it is a big responsibility taken on an apprentice, and you're going to play a big role in that person's career in the future. And I think the block release, the day is a challenge, and then as they're an employee, they have to get 30 days holidays as well. So there is an extra cost to being an apprentice employer, but then Solas do give each employer €2,000 a year to go towards the cost you're incurring, I suppose, as an employer. So that's definitely a help, and I have to say the Solas system I find quite good to use in terms of even applying for those grants, and we as a registered employer now can register any job opportunities we have on the Solas website. So like if anyone after this is interested in apprentice, they'll see our advertisement there on the website, and like not enough farmers are taking opportunity of that. You know, there's very few jobs actually listed there at the minute. So like of the 3 apprentices we've had, 2 we found locally.
Okay.
They were young people relief milking in the area, and we had a chat to them about where they wanted to be in the future, and they weren't aware of the apprenticeship, told them about it, and they're delighted with it now. The other one was just through the website. So I mean, it's fantastic in an industry where, you know, it can be hard to find people, to have someone contact you looking for a job. So that's a big benefit to the program.
There's a question there, Paddy. If a student can't find an employer, is there somewhere that they can go for help? And one of the places they can start is the website.
Yeah.
But Emma Louise, maybe if the website, if they don't find something suitable, any advice?
And just to echo that, you know, once you're an approved employer, you can advertise there, and you're highly visible, particularly because not enough of the approved employers are taking that opportunity to advertise there. So
there's a list of approved employers on the Solus website.
So the advertisements. So
you have to go a step further and actually advertise. You can be approved, but if you're not advertising, they can't see you.
But
so you have to be.
And I suppose what you would see is, for a lot of people, they're actually putting an existing employee through the system, or it's somebody who may be working kind of relief milking, things like that, or, you know, part-time work. But I suppose, you know, looking into your locality, as Paddy identified 2 of his, but also for the apprentices, you know, you'll be aware of businesses who are potentially looking, like Mike, approaching a farmer. You might have done some work with them. I'd like to work with you. I think we're compatible, and to go through that. What I would say for anybody who is thinking of the apprenticeships, work with the person, you know, for maybe a week or 2 to get a feel for each other. So you don't really know people until you've worked with them, and that is a real success story. Olivia was on farm for a couple of months before the apprenticeship actually started, and you know, so you really know the person. That 2-year commitment for the apprenticeship, you know, can be very successful where that is done.
No, it's a very good point. And also, just going back to the employer aspect as well, what supports are available in Teagasc for employers? So
I suppose once you have an apprentice registered with you, the courses will start in the month of September, as Anne-Marie had said. So there will be an induction for the employers at that point. So with that, you know, the expectations of the employer and the apprentice, and, you know, just simple things like the course layouts, those block release dates, the course days are discussed at that point. Within the farm manager apprenticeship, we actually have kind of a training or a CPD program for our farmers across the year. So I suppose, what did that look like this year? In the month of November, we had some training in terms of employment law for some of these farmers that we're working with as employers. It's their first time ever employing people. So, you know, making sure the contract of employment, hours, payment, all of that is as per regulation.
And it's fair to say, Emma Louise, that maybe the apprenticeship programme isn't for every employer either?
Absolutely not, no. And, you know, that 3 to 5 days per month, you know, Polly mentioned farms are busy places to work. You know, all of these various apprenticeships are busy businesses. So people have to look at it and maybe talk to somebody, you know, your poddies, the people who are doing it, to see does it work. You know, again, referring to the old system, not every farmer that engaged with that system came across to the apprenticeship. There would have been lesser days, college days, of that commitment of time off the farm. So, you know, people have to weigh it up for themselves. Does it work? And, you know, there is a financial outlay in terms of paying them while they're off the farm, off the job, and also the mentoring and training part. Actually, to pick up on the grant as well, there is a gender bursary too. So if there's one gender that has 20% or less, there is an additional grant. So that's to the region of €2,666 across the 2-year period of the apprenticeship.
Okay, and payment has come up now, and we might get a view from both of you for the apprentices. So there's a question here: are apprentices entitled to at least the minimum wage?
Yeah, absolutely, and that is the minimum, Deirdre. That is where it's set, and as I suppose the previous panel would have said, it is between the employer and the apprentice what that is set at. But it's €14.15 per hour at the moment is the minimum.
Yeah,
which I think, just out of like an interesting, Danny that's currently with us, he was actually thinking about doing an apprentice electrician, and they're at like €9 an hour starting in year 1 or something like that. So he couldn't believe, he was relief milking in the area, he was thinking about doing an apprenticeship electrician, but he said he wanted at least his own farm in the future. And I suppose he wasn't really in that network of meeting, you know, a lot of people who'd done that. So we've done it, and I was like, well, you'll start at more, and then like in terms of the opportunities in the sector, you know, it's particularly dairying, I suppose, myself and Emily's, but like I see huge opportunities for people in terms of you know, older farmers stepping back into future farms for lease partnerships, but even for employment, there's a huge demand, and like there's some very good salaries being paid, you know, for farm managers or farm technicians or whatever.
And just go back to that question there as well, Paddy, like are the apprentices that are working with you now at the moment, are they with you Monday to Friday? Because obviously dairy now is 24/7, so...
Yeah, no, our roster varies during the year, so during that real intense calving period we'd do a 6 day on, 1 day off roster, and then move into kind of 11 and 3 for the rest of the year.
And that suits and appeals to everybody?
Yeah, I suppose like with the course and everything, you agree all your expectations at the start and how things are going to be run, and like you try and plan holidays in as much advance as possible, plan the course days as much as in advance as possible, and you can just organise it around that then.
Yeah, perfect. Emma Louise, the type of apprentices that we see on our programmes, you might just give a, like say it's not all males, it's not all females, you know, what's the type of apprentice coming forward?
So there is a mix, like Olivia's class was, I suppose, unique. It was nearly 50-50 in terms of gender, but we are seeing more females. I think that's a general movement with apprenticeships in general. From our perspective, we've a really interesting second year cohort. It's not just Irish, so we have international apprentices as well. We have 2 Filipino apprentices. I know there's a potential Nepalese apprentice starting with us in September. So it is open to, I suppose, an international cohort too. I suppose the only requirement there is a working proficiency in English would be important, as well as the academic entry requirements.
And it's something we see in the horticultural apprenticeship as well, where we have a lot of international applicants, and male and female, so it's a nice balance in the groups. A question here, do you work with your employer for the full 12 months, or is it like college where you get the summer off?
No, so it is the full 12 months, and you're actually, with the apprenticeship now, it's a 2-year program, and you're signing up, you know, your contract of employment with the individual for the full 24 months.
Yes.
Paddy mentioned you have an annual leave entitlement, and then you will be off farm for block release.
Yeah.
But otherwise, across the 12 months of the year, you will be on the job.
Okay. And just on that, Paddy, how do you plan the annual leave then for somebody?
Yeah, we kind of have a general rule in the business. Everybody gets a week off in April because you're kind of finished calving. And after that, then it's very flexible. Like, and if you, like 30 days, well, between 20 days annual leave and 10 bank holidays. If you work a bank holiday, you get a day back. So like if you schedule those days in between your 3 or 4 days off, you can actually end up with decent blocks together and stuff.
Okay.
So
people work, they can, you know, use their annual leave as well. As it suits
I suppose you have to be quite conscientious in terms of maybe your course time as well, and that like you try and just communicate, like the lads were saying earlier, in terms of planning.
And no doubt there's pinch points as well,
we
all have to manage those.
Yes,
Emma Louise, there's a question there about the dairy and the beef locations, so where are they thought?
So I suppose I don't have the list in front of me, but they are dotted across the country. I would say probably 5 of the 30 farm managers that started us this year are on dairy beef farms.
Okay,
but I suppose it is looking at the Generation Apprenticeship website, and also then maybe looking in your area if there isn't anybody who is fitting the bill there. But I would say on the farm manager side it's predominantly dairy at the moment. Mike mentioned dairy tillage, and then there are some on dairy beef farms.
And we have a question there as well about visas. Are you familiar with what about a visa sponsorship in case of apprenticeship for somebody that's thinking of applying internationally?
Yeah, so Teagasc wouldn't be involved in that. That would be between yourself and the employer. And once you have agreed employment, at that point, then you would sign up to Solus, and you'd engage with Teagasc at that point.
Perfect. And I've been told now we've time for just one last question. So, Paddy, I might ask you: is the apprenticeship program something that you recommend to other employers?
Yeah, like I really think it's something that the industry needs to get behind and promote more. I think there's like any amount of level 8 honours degree in agriculture at the minute, and like one of our apprentices would have started one of them and went, geez, this is not for me, this is just too academic. And like there's so many level 8s now, I could see like as a parent why you might think like level 8 is better than an apprenticeship. But like when I see the opportunities on farm, again, employment or otherwise,
and financial, as you've
mentioned, like the wages are
Mm.
I would say better than in industry. Okay, the hours are probably a bit longer as well, but I think as farmers we need to probably take on a bit more responsibility to try and find these people, and I think they actually could have more successful careers if they go down a more farm-focused path than a university path.
Excellent, lovely, thanks Paddy. And Emma Louise, any final words on the programme?
Yeah, I guess I'm repeating what has been said already, but it is that earn while you learn model. You know, if we think about the method, the applied nature of the learning, it is really, really relevant to a lot of people. The industries represented, horticulture, sports turf, and the 2 farm apprenticeships, you know, incredibly dynamic, vibrant industries. And given the practical skills and knowledge that the graduates have coming out, they're incredibly employable, and it's a very exciting stepping stone in their careers. I would urge anybody who is listening today, Deirdre, you know, there's on the Teagasc website for each of the apprenticeships, the contact details of the course coordinator is there. We're available and we're happy to talk to anybody. You know, we have potential apprentices, employers, parents, career guidance teachers in touch every week. So we're willing to take any questions, big or small, that people might have.
Perfect. And is there a deadline, Emily?
Yes, so like I would say that people agreed that employment and their registration forms completed by around the 1st of August, ahead of the September start.
So all apprenticeships, or the intake will be September?
September start, yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, I think that's all we have time for. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paddy, for taking time out, and Emma Louise as well. So as we come to the end of today's webinar, I'd like to thank all of our speakers and panellists for sharing their experiences and insights, from Mike's journey into agriculture through a non-traditional route, to Dara progressing into partnership with the family business, and Olivia moving into the new role with Borbia. It really shows the range of pathways Teagasc Apprenticeships can offer. I'd also like to acknowledge the work of our production team, Declan McArdle and Charlie Smith, whose support and expertise have made today's webinar possible. So wherever you are joined us from today, whether it's school, work or home, we hope that this session has given you a real sense of the opportunities available and perhaps sparked your interest to find out more. For more information on Teagasc Apprenticeships and full-time courses, please visit our website at www.teagasc.ie. On behalf of Teagasc, thank you for watching and have a great day.